Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. This is going to be a little bit of a different one today. A while ago I did a video that was a cover song, and it was by a band called 21 Pilots, and the song was called Oldies Station. And I did it on this old 1945 harmony guitar, and I actually recorded that whole thing on this old Samsung S4. So both the video and the audio were off of this old thing. But I thought because someone commented down below in that video and asked if I would do a tutorial video of that, I thought, yeah, that might be fun. And so I'm going to do a little series here on just how to play that song, or how I play it. It might not be accurate to the actual song 100%. When that song came out, I think it was a couple weeks after I heard the song Oldies Station, and I thought that is my theme song. And the reason why, I figured it was my theme song is because I'd been through so many things in these last few years. And I just thought, wow, what a cool song to kind of, support what I've gone through and kind of what I actually did through that time, is pushing on through. And kind of the key line in that song. And when darkness rolls on you, push on through. And so I thought, yeah, I'll do a little series. The first video right now is going to be basically kind of an introduction to why I did the song. So a little backstory to that. And then the intro to the actual song. So I'll put I'll separate it so there's timestamps. So if people don't want to hear me yapping away, they can just go straight to the intro in this video. And also I'll do, a video on kind of the verse section, the pre-chorus, I guess, probably. And then the bridge has a lot of picking and stuff. And then kind of the big chorus at the end and ending. So I'll separate those out. It'll probably be 4 or 5 videos, something like that. But anyways, to start off with, the backstory behind the reason why I did this song and the reason why it meant so much to me is because in 2019, I was working on a film set. I was part of the cast, but I was also kind of doing double duty as a crew and helping build this medieval set. And so I was cutting some strips of wood, and I sliced through this knuckle right here with a skill saw. And so it didn't sever it entirely, but it went about halfway in. It severed the tendon though. And for a guitar player, that's a very bad thing. My work as a studio musician, guitar player depended on that. But yeah, so I had some amazing people that were part of that whole recovery process. I had a surgeon, a young guy, and I tried remembering his name and searching for him, but I think it was Christopher Thompson was his name, or Thompson. And just a young guy, 20, 28, 29 maybe. He put my finger back together, and then there was a really long process of physio. And I couldn't actually play the guitar for a couple of years. And so that was a very low time. I had a couple of weeks in there where I really believed I was not going to play guitar ever again. And so went through that emotional thing and realized, who I am isn't based on what I do. It's who I actually am. And so there was a wonderful physiotherapist, and her name was Anita Mazzaros, and I think that's how you pronounce her name, I hope. And she was so incredible in the way that she got me to where I could obviously bend my finger again with all the exercise and stuff. But when I actually started playing guitar, it was super painful, and there was all these micro movements I needed to relearn. And she was incredible in the sense that I would take my guitar and I would try something and yelp. And she'd go, oh, I know what you need to do. She just knew right on tap what needed to change. And she gave me these different, different, I guess, strengths of putty and elastic bands and all kinds of things, and different hand exercises. But she was able to troubleshoot what was wrong in some of the reaches that I had to do, and especially if I had to have any sideways pressure on that knuckle. It was super painful. And she worked me through all that. And what an incredible person. And so I'm super grateful for her. So that was kind of the first hurdle in 2019, 2020. And I had a couple of years there where I really couldn't play guitar. And then COVID, right? So COVID hit everybody. And for our studio, I mean, we need to have people in, but it almost shut down the studio completely. And but I thought of getting a job somewhere, just pumping gas or doing something like that. But there was enough projects online, which I was super grateful for, and people that could come in. We were doing some video projects where people could come in masked up, and we could have them sitting, 6 feet apart or whatever, and we were able to do some stuff that way. But those type of projects really carried us through. So that was a tough time as well. And then after that, when COVID was done, I ended up, I was with some other guys. We were in a truck, and we were driving in icy conditions. The semi in front of us jackknifed. And in order to kind of avoid that semi, our driver tried to take the ditch, but we got hit from a semi from behind. And initially, we all got out and we thought we were okay, but there was a couple of us that realized after a few hours that there was something really wrong. And for me, it was my back and my hip. And so, within a few hours, I was just in really bad pain. By the time I got home, after a few days, I could hardly move. I was in such brutal pain, and so I couldn't do anything almost. And so through SGI, I had to go through the chiro and physio and that, and amazing people again. I'm just going to give the shout outs to the people who helped me get my life back, be able to walk again, be able to, do life again. And that was Curtis Jurgens. He was the chiropractor, such an amazing man, and so specific and accurate in how he dealt with my back. And I mean, initially he thought it was broken. That's how bad it was, but it wasn't. I'm so grateful. But then the physiotherapist was equally as incredible, and that was Christine Myers. And she spent all this time just helping me get strength in my core and basically get to the place where I could function. And so I'm so grateful for that. That's the backstory of why this song means so much, is because, I had some dark moments in that stretch of time, and I really had to just push on through. And I mean, if anybody out there knows who I am as a person, a lot of that pushing on through wasn't from me. It was with the help of the Lord. So I'm just going to say that because that is totally true. I don't think I'd even be here. The way the accident happened, you don't play tag with two semis and survive. So there was something going on there where we walked away from that. But anyway, that's why this song means so much. So sorry for the long introduction there, but I thought I don't think I've really shared that publicly too many times, or especially here. So yeah, hopefully this song will be as inspiring to somebody out there as it was to me, and it still is. So anyway, to get into the kind of the nuts and bolts of this song, we're going to start just, I guess, the intro, and I'll just walk through some of the chords that I'm going to be using. And so for me, I learned this super fast. I was, because I was so excited about the song, I just wanted to get it up on the channel as quick as possible. So there's probably some mistakes in chords and things like that. And obviously, he does it on ukulele, so this is a little bit different. So I adapted it for guitar. So This is what I came up with, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, so I'm playing it in A, and I can't remember. I think that might be the same key that 21 Pilots does it in. But I'm using the bar chord at the 5th fret. So I'll just walk you through some of these chords. And for anybody who has never, maybe you're just learning guitar and you want to learn this song, I'll try to be, clear on kind of what I'm doing in a, as basic as I can get in the time frame I have. But basically, it's the A bar chord. So what you're doing is you're holding down your index finger across the 5th fret. And, it's super hard at first to do that, especially hard on this old guitar. But you're holding down all of those strings at that 5th fret. And then you're creating this E chord shape with your other fingers. And so just to how this works, I'll call out the strings by the numbers 1 for the skinniest, 2 as the next one up, 3, 4, 5, 6, so all the way to the lowest string. I'll do it that way, just so that it's easier for people who can't remember what the names of the strings are. So on the 3rd string, I have my middle finger on the 6th fret there, and so that's taking that one. My pinky is on the 7th fret on the 4th string, and my ring finger is on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So that is, and then obviously that low note is taken up by this finger itself. So that's A I'm using. Then I'm using a D2 chord. And so basically it's the same bar that you're holding with your index finger, but you're just lifting off your middle finger off the 3rd string, and then you're just shifting your ring finger and pinky finger down one set of strings, okay? That gives you a D2, okay? And so that's another chord we're using in that section. Then we're playing an A major 7th. So that is actually created. So if you have your fingers still there on the D2 chord, just take your middle finger and place it down on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, right there. It should sound like that. Now that's actually a D minor, but what we're going to do is we're just going to slide all 3 of these other fingers, not the barred one, just back. And as you're sliding them back 1 fret, all of them back 1 fret, you kind of have to make room, and you still want to keep your index finger on the top, this 6th string. So you keep that note. That's the A note that makes this an A major 7th chord. Now, what I'm doing is, for this chord, I'm sounding the notes that are actually fretted by my fingers. You can play an A major 7th by using this fleshy part of your finger here, and so you're holding the A, but you're also holding this the 4th fret of the 1st string as well. So you're kind of doing double duty there. But so instead of there, but we don't really need that for this. Because I can do it, but it's super hard on this guitar. And so what I was actually doing on the video that I released on the channel was I'm just playing this 6th string note, the A note, and then with the fleshy part of my index finger, it's actually muting the 5th string. So you don't actually hear that as I'm strumming. And then you hear those other 3 notes that I'm fretting. That one gets muted, and you hear those 3 notes. And then the bottom one actually is just getting muted by the fleshy part of my finger. Instead, I'm not pushing down hard enough to make it sound. I'm just kind of holding it lightly on there. And so that gives me this. So when you strum it, you hear those chord tones, but you actually don't perceive that there's muted notes in there. So kind of cool. So that's the A major 7th. And then I do a little kind of switching back and forth on that D2 chord. But what I'm doing is, remember how I just told you to make that kind of D minor shape and slide it down in order to create the A major 7th? Well, if you do take that D2 shape, but instead of putting your middle finger on the 6th fret on the 2nd string, put it on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're just going to lift off your pinky and put it back on. Lift off your pinky and put it back on. And if you're holding down all 3 of those notes, including the barred ones, you can do this. Right? So it's just when you lift this finger off, even though I'm pushing on this one, you don't hear it. See, I'm taking it on and off, but you don't hear that at all because this one takes priority. But if I lift it off, if I'm holding this one down, my middle finger down on the 6th fret, on the 3rd string, and I lift my pinky off, then it sounds, right? So then you can do this. Okay, so that's one of the little exercises you could practice to do this intro. And then the other part is just a little slide. I'm doing that kind of thing with the pinky. Now that might be hard for someone who's just learning because the strings can feel real sharp and sort of kind of feel like they're cutting into your skin. So you might want to work up to that. But I mean, my fingers have calluses, so they kind of are almost like feet, actually. But anyway, the whole intro basically goes like this. You start with the A, or this is how I do it. And what I should probably let you know that I'm strumming, I don't know if you can see, but all the other nails, I should have them longer, but I chew my nails. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I'm dedicated because I keep these 2. I need those for playing guitar. But when I'm strumming, I'm kind of strumming as a hybrid way. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of sort of partially strumming with my thumb, but these nails are carrying most of the attack, I guess. So that's kind of the sound. And I do brush my index finger. I kind of brush, all my fingers, against there. But these ones are kind of used more as guitar picks, I guess, for that. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I'm strumming this part. But I start off by going down with a down strum on the A chord. And I'm just kind of rubbing my thumb against those bass notes. So, downstroke. And when we get more into the song, then it's full on, like that strumming idea I just told you about. So that's kind of the strumming hand part of things. But yeah, it does that part. So it's downstroke. And then I do, with my thumb, I strum once on the D2. But right after I go, so what's happening there is my pinky is moving from the 3rd string on the 7th fret down to the 7th fret on the 1st string. So now that's a little tricky because I'm strumming down with my thumb, but as I'm coming back up, I'm plucking that note with my middle finger nail. And then I slide up. And so as I'm sliding, I'm keeping the note sounding. But then I pluck it once more when I get to that 9th fret. So that first little bit sounds like this. And then I slide down. So do it one more time for you. Oh, I'll try it again. Super hard playing it slow sometimes. I just played it up to speed, but. Okay, so that's the first part. And then it goes into that major 7th, that A major 7th. So then it goes. And then once more with that same little slide on the D2. And then we're right into the verse. So I'll do that again slow and try to play it so that you can kind of catch what's happening there for the intro. Only consistency. That's where it goes into the verse there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this little intro backstory to the song, but also the intro tutorial. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, please consider subscribing and giving this a like. I appreciate it so much. And if you would like to share it, I'd be very grateful for that too. So yeah, the next part, we'll dive into the verse and come along for the ride with me in that. Thanks so much. Take care. And as always, God bless.